And welcome everybody. This is going to be a quick tutorial on relay, on why we might be getting signaling completely wrong in Satisfactory, especially when it comes down to path signals. So I'm going to try my best to explain it as easy as I can. It may seem complicated at first, but believe you me, once it clicks, you think, is that it? Really simple. So let's have a go. If you've got any questions, anything you're not sure of, then feel free to add a comment. I can try to explain it, or I can perhaps even do a further video to explain different topics when it comes down to trains and train signaling. So let me first explain what a signal is. So I'm going to take this junction here and this junction here. So this is a pretty, it doesn't look that complex, but it is, because we've got this junction here. So this is an exit. So my train station underneath my steelworks comes out here. So this is the exit. And it comes up this little helter-skelter and then joins the line here. So we can either go in that direction, back out towards central storage system up here, or perhaps to some factories back there, or it may go that direction again to some factories up that side, or eventually it will probably go off to the sand dunes that side. It's not quite complete yet, but it is a full circuit more or less all the way around, right to the bottom end there, right across here. Then it snakes off up to my central storage you can see at top, up at the lakeside mountain up there, where my power station is also present. So that's what happens here. So this is an exit. So your train can go two ways. It can go in that direction and it can go in that direction. And the first thing you've got to remember that there's two, I guess, parts to a junction. There's an entrance and there's an exit. And you need to be aware of where all those are, depending on how you set up your blocks, especially when it comes down to paths. Blocks, it's a lot simpler. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to delete everything off here. I've got a test train running. This is just a test train. It's not really doing anything, it's just making sure the track works. So there's nothing stopping that there. So I'm going to get rid of all the signals covering these two junctions here. So let me reiterate what we're talking here. So we got one junction here. This is an exit from our steelworks station, which can go in that direction, or it can go in that direction. Then those trains what are heading this direction can then go into that direction towards the sand dunes and to the swamp areas, and or this area, which will take us back into our built up area that we've done down there. We've got several blueprints we've built up down there. If you're not, if you want to check those out, you can look at the playlist, which is pretty much under blueprints. And also my central storage, which is another blueprint, and the power plant, which is also another blueprint, all available on the YouTube channel under Satisfactory Blueprints. So you got a train that can come out this direction and go either up there or back down that way. And if it comes this way, it can actually go towards the swamps and the currently unbuilt section, or it can go that way back round on the circuit. And then any train what's coming now, this I have this set up as a right-handed, so any train what's coming here can either start here, so this is the entrance, so looking at this part here, this is just one junction on its own. It can either go straight on, or it can turn here, and then again, if you're looking at the other way around, again, this is all a right-hand system, so all trains will be on the right-hand side. It can either enter this junction and go straight on, or it can turn right here. So there's quite a lot of entrances and exits in this system. So the first thing you want to be aware of is the term blocks, because this is what signaling gives you. It gives you a block. So if you pick up on transport, pick up your block signal, you get a color. Now, if you've no signals at all, then it's a random generated color, but basically your rail will be one color. So let's say it's all red. Your rail, all along your rail will be red. In my case, it's different colors because I have got already blocks in place. So this block here starts here, and this block ends here, and it's colored green. What that means is that if a train enters that block, then this signal here will turn red, and no other train can enter that block until that train exits by this one, which is also the start of the next block. So basically, when a train goes in green, no other train can join, but when it leaves green, it means another train can join it. Meanwhile, while it's in the red area, no other train can actually come into the red area. So what you want to do is, the reason that we put a lot of blocks in the system, and I've got blocks pretty much all the way up in, there's no particular order, I just make it large enough, because what you want to do is to make it that if it was all one block, you put one, let's say, right up here at the central storage, and then one down here at the steelworks, then you effectively got one big block. That means only one train, because that would be one color. Only one train would be able to be utilized at any one time in that block. So it's not efficient. So you put different blocks up, which allows other trains to travel. So let me see if that makes any sense to you. What we're going to do here, we've got a large red block here coming from our station. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here and let's just split it up a little bit more. So let's add another block here that makes it a bit shorter. Then we'll keep it red up till this point. Now, only one train can be in the yellow down here, only one train can be in the blue, dark blue, and then only one train can be in the turquoise light blue. So we've got a block here, which you notice that was no entry at first until the train left it. That's because it was all the way down there. So what we can do, what we normally do, is that when we're entering a junction, we have a block on the entrance and then a block on every exit. So this is the junction I want to talk about. This is the junction I want to control, just this small section here. So green, this is the start of the junction here. So we'll go to the closest exit here. That's made that orange. And then we'll travel all the way out to this one here. And that's not coloured yet, but we'll see why in a second. So that's that one out there, and that's that one out there. Now, this block, this is still entering the block, although it's not, can't turn into there because I've got it set. And by the way, you set its direction by where you put your block signal. So I just take that off a second and pick up another block. If I put the block on this side, it'll just do it. Come on. Be a bit finicky. I put the block on that side. See that? It automatically flagging because it knows we've got everything set up down here because we've got this block facing this direction. So it knows it should be coming up here. So basically, by putting this one on this side, what you're effectively doing is swapping it around. So you put your block for the direction of traffic, where basically, if you're facing forward, for your direction of the train, you put it onto the right-hand side of the track, which is here. No flashing here, that's green, and that's green. That's perfect. So, like I said, this is a right-hand signal here, so we need to put this block in place as well. And then also, again, right-hand signal here, let's put a block here. Well, now we've got a very small area for a train to block. And that's why they call block signals, because basically any train in this orange will block any other train from any direction coming into that block, you know, to stop the risk of them smashing into each other. But you want these junctions to be as small as possible, because whilst a train is in that junction, no other trains can pass, which is fine when you've got 1 or 2 trains. But if you've got 10 trains, you're going to lose efficiency somewhere down the line, because you've got like huge blocks. So if this was orange all the way down there, and then orange all the way up there, and then orange all the way up there, then you'd have trains stacking up all around, not be able to get in until this train has exited that block. So you just need to remember that for a block, you can be wrong in a block. You don't have to do everything. It just loses your optimization, but it becomes crucial when we talk about paths. But basically, you're looking to make these colors on junctions as small as possible. But when you're on the normal run like this, you want it. There's no rule of thumb, but I just generally do it by eye. You know, you can say you want to cover at least 2 train lengths, no more than 2 train lengths probably. But I've got that one set there, so that's quite a distance, and then I've got one at the top. So, but for my setup, if I see trains stopping on this line, then I would shorten the length of these blocks. But for now, that seems fine. So it can be quite long on the straight, but on junctions, you want it as tight as possible. Now you have to be careful, because if you get it too tight to this, sometimes it messes up the actual sort of block, because it doesn't know whether it's on this line or it doesn't know whether it's on this line when they're too close to the connection where the lines meet. So sometimes you might have to juggle this a bit if it's not working, but it should be right at the beginning, a block at the beginning, a block at every entrance, and a block at every exit. Now, same again we can do for this side. So let's do it for this side. So looking at this, our blue is the block. Now it's going way too far. It's going all the way down there, all the way up there. So that's not what we want. We want it nice and small. We want it as close as possible to this turning point, and not too far off it. So let's start this block here. So that's going to go from this direction, and then let's do it there. So we've only got that section there that is going to block, and then don't need to do one here because we've already got it covered by this one here, and we've just put that one in there. So that's that side done. Now we'll look at this side. So if a train's coming on this direction, we'll block it at the entrance there. And then we'll block it at the exit, sorry, here when it's going straight. And then it's already done there. Now get into this block here. We've already got a block here, so it doesn't really matter. We've already got a block there, so it doesn't really matter. So block signal, block signal, block signal, block signal, block signal, and block signal. That's a block signal. So that should work. We've got a nice little small block signal there, but there's something wrong. And you can see that these are flashing. Now, you could troubleshoot this for a while, but I'll tell you what jumps at me instantly is that this turquoise color is stopping where that block is there, stops where that block is there, stops roughly where that block is there, stops where that block is there, and whoa, doesn't stop here. And again, if you notice, it's this connection here. So what we can do is delete that. And it's just because these two connections here are too close, it's confusing the block signal. Just the way the game works sometimes. So if you just step down a little bit for a block signal there, bang, all done. So sometimes when block signals fail, you'll probably be on too close to a junction. And that's what the issue is. So I hope that makes sense to everybody, but that's block signals. What I want to talk to you about now is what we do. We want a path signal. And what is a path signal? Right, let me explain that now. Let's delete all these first. We'll delete that one, delete that one. All them are deleted anyway. Cool. Let's start again. So what is a path? Right. If I was to use blocks, and then we're back to our huge block now. So we've got like a massive block here. So we got two junctions. We've got this junction joining the main line, which crosses there. And we got this smaller junction here where we're crossing the main line here. So, but it's all red. So it's all one block. So basically any train in that red means no other train can go in there. That doesn't make sense, does it? And also, if we got trains coming in here and then coming out and going that way, we don't want to block this either. Because if planes are going up and down here, why would you block a train when it's not even going to go on that line? So it makes sense to have these two junctions independent of each other. And we've just done that before in blocks. Now I'm going to explain it how to do it in path. So similar principle, but with one important caveat. Once we put a path signal in, it acts like a block, so it gives us a different color. So that's the block start. However, you can't mix blocks and paths together. So a path is placed at the entrance, not the exit, of every entrance to a junction. So every entrance to the junction has to have a path signal. You can't mix and match it. You can't have a path signal coming on one entrance and a block signal on another entrance. It doesn't compute. So if we look at the error message on this, block has conflicting entry signal types. Now, if we didn't have enough on our exits, then it would say exit. But entry signal types, it's still calling it a block, even though it's a path. But it is a path if we look at it to configure the path signal. So, right, let's go back. So we got a path signal here. So that's one entrance to this junction. And then you've got an entrance. Remember, right-hand side traffic. So this is an entrance to this one here. And then right-hand traffic again. This is an entrance over here to this one. All path signals. So that should work, shouldn't it? Well, not quite. So we got all our so this is the junction we're talking about here. Ignore that, pretend it doesn't exist. We're just talking about this junction here. So just the orange bit in this section, not this orange bit over here. So we got 3 entrances to this junction covered by a path signal. Now we need every exit of this junction to be covered by a block. So we take blocks or another path. And we'll see that example in a minute. But for now, I'm just going to add blocks. So again, we can go into this direction here. So a block can go onto that one. And we can go out to here. And a block can go to that one. And there we go. That's a simple junction. So every exit has got a block. Every entrance has got a path signal. If you can remember those, now you get more complex, and we're going to go over to a bit more of a complex one right now. But that is the principle of signaling. So they do work, and they are a great system to keep your trains efficient, and a great system to make sure that your trains are running on time, which, you know, in the UK is a miracle if any train runs on time. But yeah, that's another story. Right. So we got this junction covered here, but like I said, we've also got this junction here. But now we've segregated it. So I'm not going to put block signals on this. I'm going to do the same with a path signal. So I'm going to put path signal to everything. And I didn't really explain what a path signal is, so I should explain what a path signal is and what the difference, or why you should use a path signal. So as I explained with blocks, the train entering this particular junction in yellow, if a train's in there, no other train can enter it. So basically that stays like a no entry sign, or red light we can call it, to bar any other trains coming from any direction. So coming from this line here, it would stop it, and this line here would stop it, and if any trains come up here, it would stop it. That's until the train completely exited the yellow portion of this particular block. Now what a path function does, it's a bit like a smart block, because if our train was coming to, from here and then going into this direction, why would you want to block that line there? Because the train is not going to hit anything, it's going in that direction. So what a path signal does, it looks to say, yep, this is the blocks, this is what I've got to protect. But what direction are you going? What part of this block are you actually going to be using? And if it sees it's only using that one line, then the path will allow trains to pass on this line. So it makes the junction even more efficient. You're only sort of blocking, preventing trains from more than one train entering a line that's got another train on it, effectively. And a train and a line in the same block, but doesn't have a train on it, it will allow it through, even though technically it's in the same block. So a path signal is generally used, is only useful actually for a junction. So you wouldn't use that, you know, on your normal line, because you could use path signals, but there's no use to them. The main use is when you use a path is that it looks at the block it's protecting. It looks at the direction or which line the train will be using, and it will allow traffic through that block on unused lines. So hopefully that makes sense, and why we use them on junctions, especially complex junctions. And I would class this as a complex junction because it's a junction running into a junction. So right, let's go back here. So I'm going to put, this is my line of travel, so I'm going to put path signal on this entrance here, coming into this direction. And then in this direction, I'm going to put a path signal there. That's going into that direction. And then it gives me one other. Now we've got this as a block signal. Yeah. Because it's a block to this. I'm going to delete that, which will fire that off going, which I'm fine. But I'm going to turn this into a path signal. Now this works again purely because dog is bothering me. This works perfectly because it sees the exit block as a block, even though it's a path. So the exit can be a path or a block, but the entrance to any junction that uses path signals has to be a path signal. So again, reiterate that you can't mix entrances with path or path and blocks. It can only be paths or it can only be blocks, but exits can be both or a mixture of both. But in this case, we need it to be a path because we've got a path on this direction, a path signal on that direction. So we need a path signal on this direction. And now we just need to make sure, although it's technically working because there is already blocks on this line, if I pick another block, will I go to a block signal? Way too high there up on the blocks. So I'm going to put this up here. Will it work? No, it doesn't like that one, does it? So we've tried that one before. It needs to be a bit further down there. So that block over there, and then add this block this direction, just to make it a little bit smaller. And there you go. So I'm not too bothered. That's a very wide section, but that's all right. And sometimes these are different colors, by the way. Sometimes these are different colors. Sometimes these are the same colors, but they're actually different colors. It's just sometimes how the thing is. So if you put a block in here, that's the size of the block. Yeah, sometimes because it's a random color, you might get two blocks next to each other of the same color, even though they're separate blocks. Yeah, there's not much you can do about that, unfortunately. So I hope that sort of explains a few things for you, and hopefully, you know, if you're struggling with signaling systems, then you know that's how to do it. So basically, a block is a piece of track separated by two block signals that allows only one train at a time within that block. Path signal will only allow one train at a time in a block on a line that is being used, but it will allow a train to go through a protected block under a path as long as the line that it wants to go down doesn't have a train already on it. So like I said, I hope that makes sense. And if you've got any questions, feel free to shout up in you know, in the comments. And like I said, hope you've enjoyed the video. Hope it's been useful to you. Hope it's a handy tip. But I just think it was worth just going through how to do signaling in Satisfactory. Okay, thanks for listening all. Speak to you soon. Bye everybody.